Last night's much-anticipated Braves-Nationals matchup didn't disappoint. The Braves awoke from a 3-6 road trip, racking up 8 runs on 13 hits against a wounded Washington club. The Nats were clearly frustrated at the plate and on the field. They didn't like the Braves' aggressive approach on the bases, a capital offense near Capitol Avenue. Tonight, another chapter to this rivalry will be written as A.J. Cole makes his big league debut against Julio Teheran. It's the Nats and Braves. Buckle your seatbelts. Game 2 is next. Once again, it's time for Braves baseball. Always fun when the Washington Nationals come to town. We had a lot of fun last night. The Braves were all smiles. They won Game 1 of this heated rivalry in 2015. 8-4 was the final last night. Big crowd gathering for Game 2 here at Turner Field. What can we expect from the Braves and Nationals this evening? We had hard slides, we had retaliations, we had ejections, but let's not forget, fellas, the great work turned in by Eric Stoltz. He picked up the win last night.
Yeah, amongst all the craziness we talked about, oh, by the way, Eric Stoltz pitched a great ball game for the Braves. Look, when you're coming off of a tough road trip, you want to be the guy, the starting pitcher that goes out there and gets the homestand started. You want to go out there, give a solid effort, give the guys an opportunity to win a ball game and get the homestand started off on the right foot. Eric Stoltz did that for sure last night.
Meanwhile, for Washington, nothing's going right for them, Joe. They're in last place. Their big ticket acquisition, Max Scherzer, can't go tonight. They turn to a rookie to try to snap their losing streak.
Yeah, they've called up A.J. Cole, who is, depending on who you talk to, their number 2, number 3 prospect in their organization. And he was off to a great start at Syracuse. This is his major league debut. He's out of Central Florida. And by all accounts, talking to Phil Gosselin before the game, who faced him last year, he said he's got a good arm, throws hard, command can sometimes be an issue, and on any given night he's got a pretty good slider too.
Veteran guy, though, going for the Braves, Tommy, and Julio Teheran knows all about these Nationals.
Well, he does. He's had success against them, and maybe just what he needs. He's coming off a couple of tough starts. Last time out against the Mets, tough one again. 5 walks, which is extremely uncharacteristic for Julio. So look for him with a familiar foe that he's had some success against to go out there tonight with some confidence and get things back on track.
Great night for the Braves in Game 1 last night. Hopefully more of the same without the drama, perhaps. We look back, we move ahead, and Christina Fitzpatrick gets reaction from the Braves over last night's 8-4 Atlanta victory over the wounded Nationals.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
and the Braves. We had a good game one. It wouldn't be a rivalry without a little bit of bad blood like we saw last night, but it was really a perspective of two different clubhouses, two different scenes. You know, one, the Braves said it was their shortstop hustling, making a good play. A shortstop that's been known to maybe run the bases a little crazy, like his manager put it, from time to time in the past. The Nationals, though, not okay with the way Andrelton Simmons slid. They called it ugly after the game. They were vocal about it. They said it was one that he would probably regret. But no matter what, the Braves said today that the page has been turned, and they are looking forward to tonight, keeping the focus on the field and getting another win in Game 2.
As far as I'm concerned, they took care of business the way they thought they needed to, and it's over. I don't know why there should be any carryover or anything. I don't know what was said. Don't really care, to be honest with you. As far as I'm concerned, it's over with, and move on and go play baseball.
Obviously, we've had some history in the past, but, you know, I think we got to put the focus on the field. You know, I think, you know, they thought the slide was a little late yesterday, and, you know, they got their retaliation, and that should be the end of it, and hopefully it is.
And they will hand the ball to Julio Teheran tonight, who's coming off of a little bit of a rough outing in New York, looking to bounce back. I talked to pitching coach Roger McDowell about it. He said for Julio tonight, it's about executing, making pitches, and command of his fastball, which is what it all comes down to. On the other side of the break, we've got lineups and first pitch right here from Turner Field. Come on back.
Is brought to you by your Atlanta area Mazda dealers.
Nice night for a ball game. The Nationals are in town for Game 2 of our series. Here's how Matt Williams' squad lines up. He shuffled the starting 9 again. Ian Desmond moves to the number 2 spot. Ryan Zimmerman bats behind Bryce Harper. Harper 4th, Zimmerman 5th. We get our first look at Jose Lobatón. He's behind the plate. Dan Uggla gets the start because Yunel Escobar was injured last night. That means Espinosa has to play third base, and the Nationals have to face Julio Teheran tonight.
2-1 on the year with a 4.64 ERA. Coming off a couple of rocky starts. Look for him to get things back on track, and hopefully against a familiar foe and in a ballpark that he pitches really well in. That will all add up to him getting things back on track. You see how he's done here at home in 36 career starts, 15-8. Does well against the Nats, so like I say, let's hope all those things add up to Julio getting things back on track.
His 4 keys to pitching success tonight. Number 1, with that problem he was having with some command, be aggressive early in the count. Get that first pitch strike in there and get ahead in the count. And secondly, don't get caught up in all the histrionics last night and what went on. You got a game to win tonight. Don't concentrate on stuff that went on last year. Concentrate on tonight and the issues you've had the last couple of starts and toe the line.
And you two played in the big leagues. Is last night's stuff over and done with?
I'd like to think so.
I agree. I don't really think it was all that big a deal to begin with, and I don't really see the need for any carryover.
Hope you're right, as Denard Span leads off for the Nationals. 0 for 4, drove in a run last night. And Julio's first pitch off the plate, says James Hoy, tonight's home plate umpire. Span didn't join the Nationals till April 19th. He had a core muscle injury, and he was certainly missed in the early days of the year. So he's trying to play himself into game shape right now. And he enters play tonight at 2:07 for the season. And a looper over third is a fair ball for Denard Span. So he singles to start things off. And Span is at first base. Here's the CPI Security defensive lineup for the Braves. Big night last night for Kelly Johnson. He's back in left field. Nick Markakis in right. Cameron Maben starts at center field. A.J. Krasinski back in harness. Freeman, Peterson, Simmons, and Iaspo around the horn. Here's Ian Desmond. Desmond 0 for 3 with a walk last night. Span with a good lead, not going, and that one a belt high breaking ball taken for a strike. There's never been a question about Ian Desmond's bat. This is a terrific offensive shortstop, but the Nationals have to be very concerned about his defensive issues. Already 9 errors for the Washington club. The Nationals have played 20 games.
2 pickoffs already on the season for Julio. He almost got a third.
One ball, one strike. And popped up behind first. Peterson on the run near the line. And in foul ground, Jace has it. Desmond pops out, and Jason Worth will stand in.
At least at first blush, when you look at the lineup rearranged today like it is for the Nationals, and looking at the numbers against Julio Teheran, it's as if Matt tried to find some guys that have had luck against him, put them at the top of the order, and hope to get on the board early.
Worth, though, one of those Nationals who hasn't had much luck against Julio. He's 3 for 20 against him in his career. And he's another Nat guys that's apparently playing himself into top game shape, coming back from shoulder surgery.
Everybody I talked to today commented on, when Jason Worth's name was mentioned, commented on his throws to the plate, and they were not Worth-like.
Yeah, it's tough to play your way back in this time of year or any time of year, but certainly this time of year, and even more so when your team's struggling.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about last night, was that maybe he just felt the need to rush back because they'd gotten off to a slow start and probably wasn't ready. No spring training. Probably rushed through a rehab just to get back here.
Worth joined the big league club April 13th. Right AC joint surgery in the shoulder. And another close call at first. Span stole 31 bags for the Nats last year. He's got 1 so far this season. He's got a good lead. Not going. And Worth out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Washington was hoping to see Anthony Rendon play tonight. Remember, he was held out of yesterday's game because of fatigue, general soreness. Very cold weather at the rehab site. His knee just didn't loosen up sufficiently. He's not in the lineup again today for the Washington club. Fly ball right. Markakis on the run. He'll make the play for the second out.
Sorry, Chip. I want to go back real quick before Worth was back in the dugout. His surgery was January 9th. So it could have been a deal where he started getting ready, started working out, getting ready for spring training, ran into problems, and they had to fix it. So he hasn't had that much time since a pretty serious surgery to be healed.
So that's an easy second out for Jason Worth, and that'll bring up Bryce Harper. He leads their club with 5 homers. You know all about the history of Tehran and Bryce Harper. That one darted down and in. 1 ball, no strikes. Bryce Harper, 7 career hits against Julio, 2 of them homers. He's wisely keeping Span close at first base.
They have 3 stolen bases as a team. They've been caught 6 times. You got Julio with the great move. I'm not saying you can ignore Denard Span, but it's not like normal. Certainly with Harper up there, you got to pay attention to him.
Yeah, just let Span know you're paying attention to him. Maybe catch him, but you don't want to take your focus away from, or spend so much time focusing on not giving up a stolen base, and then you forget to take care of your job, which is to make quality pitches.
Breaking ball taken for a strike. It's 2-1.
A lot of breaking balls here in the first inning.
Span started, then stopped, and Harper took low and outside.
That looked like a good pitch.
Sure did.
PNC Bank pitch tracks. Yes, indeed.
Yep. That's the one you work on in the bullpen. That's the money pitch right there.
Harper leads the league with 19 walks. He's in a hitter's count, 3 balls and a strike. And Harper fouled away the fastball. 3-2.
Boy, that was a good pitch. Location wise, 3-1. Right where AJ Pierzynski wanted it. 2-seamer down and away.
Yeah, you got a fastball count or a hitter or a fastball hitter's count, and you're able to still throw a fastball, but throw it in that location. You got a chance to get guys out. It's when you throw that fastball in a fastball count that you catch too much of the plate or up in the zone where you get in trouble. But you command that down and away one, even in a fastball hitter's count. Still got a chance to get it out.
New set of signs. Full count pitch. Span is running. And Harper hooks one down the right field line. That's headed for the corner. That's trouble. Span on his way to third. He's going to get green lighted. Markakis picks it up at the base of the wall. And Bryce Harper doubles home Denard Span on a 3-2 pitch. And Washington has scored here in the first inning.
Matt Williams got what he wanted here at the top of the order, thanks in large part to Bryce Harper. This was a curveball and a cement mixer.
Yeah, a little bit of bad luck. I mean, he makes that pitch a pitch earlier in the count, and Denard Span's not running. He maybe doesn't score right there, but certainly didn't finish where he wanted it to. But Bryce Harper just did a nice job of keeping his hands back a little bit and getting enough of it to dump it in there.
12 RBIs for Harper. He's in scoring position for Ryan Zimmerman, and he pokes one to right. Markakis with a diving catch, and that will retire the side. A run on 2 hits. Denard Span scores the game's first run. Markakis saved another with this tumbling catch in right field. A.J. Cole to the mound in his big league debut. Here's how Freddie Gonzalez puts together his Academy Sports and Outdoors lineup. Markakis, Simmons, and Freddie Freeman. Let's hope Freddie can stick around for all 9. Kelly Johnson had a big night last night, including his 3rd homer of the season. Cameron Maybin gets the start in center for Julio Teheran. And guys, an unforgettable moment for young A.J. Cole tonight.
A.J. Cole, 23-year-old, making his major league debut. You see out of Winter Springs, Florida. Kind of a crazy story there. Drafted by Washington, traded to Oakland, traded back to Washington, and as we talked about, highly regarded prospect in the Nationals organization. So big night for him, exciting time, and I'm sure a lot of butterflies floating around in that stomach right now.
A tall, lanky right-hander, A.J. Cole, faced Nick Markakis, and his first big league pitch is outside, ball 1.
That would appear to be family.
And his first major league pitch will be tossed aside, and that'll go to the mantle. One ball, no strikes. And way upstairs. Cole from Winter Springs, Florida, went to Oviedo High School. That's just east of Orlando. He's the second from Oviedo High School to make the big leagues. Mark Bellhorn, infielder, outfielder, also went to Oviedo High School years ago. And that one right back where it came from, off the pitcher's glove. So Nick Markakis feasting in the number 1 hole, has another base hit. That's his 4th hit since taking the leadoff spot.
Long arm action. I was watching some video of him earlier this evening, and one of the things that the video was from behind home plate. You could pick the ball up out of his hand real easy.
So here's Andrelton Simmons. He's riding a 3-game hitting streak. Simmons at .278. He pops up the first pitch right side. Zimmerman and Lobaton converge. It'll be Zimmerman, and Simmons is the first out. So Cole threw that baseball away, his first out. Braves ball boy has it. He should have thrown that one to his own dugout.
Yeah, he didn't like it for some reason.
Yeah. So here's Freddie Freeman. That one smoked up the middle on the first pitch. Marquez on his way to second. Takes the big turn. He'll run on Span's arm. And the Braves have 2 singles up the middle with 1 out.
Going after him early in the count, too, on fastballs.
Well, young guy, I'm sure they're figuring he's going to try and get ahead with his fastball, keep a kind of a simple game plan, and try and establish that. So go up there looking fastball, looking for a fastball up, and Freddie got one and put a good swing on it.
Well, let's get that run back and maybe some more here in the first inning. Runners at the corners for AJ Pierzynski. He knocked in a run last night. Didn't mean to, and that one's into the seats.
2 sac flies last night, wasn't it? Yep.
AJ's our Georgia lottery hitting the jackpot. A 10-game hitting streak to start the season. Last Brave to start the season in such consistent and successful hitting fashion was Martin Prado, who had a long hitting streak to start the 2010 season for the Braves. Line drive to right field. There's the catch by Harper. Tag at third. The throw is cut off. Line drive, sac fly for AJ Pierzynski, and the game is tied. Joe, has that been a sight for sore eyes? This was a situation that the Braves struggled so mightily in last year. It seems now it's an automatic run with a fly ball, the runner at third base.
Well, I know this. These veteran hitters are the ones that are taking full advantage of a runner at third and less than 2 outs, and they know what to do and how to do it. That's 3 in 2 nights for AJ.
And he's up to 9 RBIs for Alberto Callaspo. Already 8 sacrifice flies for the Braves this year.
Well, to me, it's a mindset. It's just a willingness to do the job. I mean, fly balls scores a run, you know, and I think sometimes guys seemed last year some guys got a little bit too selfish and want to do more than that. Just find a pitch you can drive into the outfield and get the job done.
That one all the way to the screen. A wild pitch will chase Freddie Freeman to second base.
More nerves. This guy was pitching great at Syracuse. I don't think he had too many of those. 15 innings, only 1 walk, and it was an intentional walk, and 10 strikeouts.
The Nationals did have a choice as to who would fill Scherzer's spot in rotation tonight. As Callaspo drives one toward the gap in right center field. Harper on the run, still going, not going to get there. That'll bounce in front of the warning track. Callaspo with a 2-out double puts the Braves in front. It seemed to hang up there forever.
Yeah, I mean, the left-handed hitter just kind of. He sliced it out there. It seemed the more Bryce ran after it, the more it ran away from him.
Tell you what, this guy could put a charge in the ball every once in a while too and fool you, just like the home run he hit in Philadelphia. And he couldn't have split the outfielders any better with this one.
Steve McCaddy's the pitching coach, and he's on his way out to settle down young A.J. Cole. The question for the Nationals was, do you bring up someone from the minor leagues for one start? Scherzer could go tomorrow, or more likely later in the week for the Washington team. Or do you pitch Tanner Roark? Roark was the odd man out in rotation for the Nationals. He's in their bullpen. If they had pitched Roark, they figured he could go 50, maybe 60 pitches. Once you get him out of the game, you might have to run through your entire bullpen tonight. So they elected to go to the minor leagues, get Cole. It was his turn to pitch. get Scherzer ready to go for next couple of days and then make a roster move tomorrow.
Well, you just hope that with that decision it doesn't turn out where you have to use Roark anyway and burn your bullpen if this kid isn't able to give you some innings.
Downstairs to Kelly Johnson, who had 3 hits, a homer, and 3 RBIs last night. Lobaton tried to frame that one, didn't get the call.
Having a little conversation, that's for sure.
Boy, yeah. James Hoy called timeout to make sure he and Lobaton could get things squared away.
You know what Betty said? You know, if you spell my name backwards, that was not a ball. I don't think James Hoy liked that very much. I could hear it very clearly all the way upstairs. 2 balls and a strike. And that a play by Kelly. 7 hits away from 1,000. Seems like only yesterday he was part of that wave of kids that came up to the Braves in 2005. A.J. Brzezinski tied it with a sac fly. Callaspo put the Braves in front with a double. Now 2-2 pitch. And Kelly didn't get it. That ball in the dirt. Lobaton with the peg first. And we head to the 2nd inning. Braves take the lead on young A.J. Cole. A.J. Brzezinski tied it for Atlanta. Callaspo gave him a lead.
Melanoma Research Foundation. The package includes a discount ticket, a pair of Freeman arm sleeves, and a $5 donation to the Melanoma Research Foundation. Sleeves are limited, so secure your tickets today at braves.com/Freeman.
I thought we were playing the Twins tonight.
Yeah, I hope they brought us some luck with their first game.
There you go. Pretty night for baseball. And Leo Teheran now in front. Let's see what kind of strike zone Jose Lobaton gets after he and James Hoy didn't see eye to eye. Lobaton's not had much luck. He's 1 for 13 with 9 strikeouts at the plate. Right on by, even count. This would be a perfect time for Julio to be Julio again. He hasn't been himself first few times through rotation. Tonight he makes his 5th start. And looks for win number 3 on the season. It's sinker, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a base hit the other way by Lobaton. Lead off man on twice in as many innings for the Nationals, and Danny Espinosa is the batter.
Had enough height on it that he could make an adjustment, get to it, reach it.
That's the difference between kind of that flat pitch that runs versus that one that sinks. Even though that ball was probably 6 inches outside, because it stayed elevated a little bit, he's able to stay on it and get the bat of the fat part of the bat on the ball and get a base hit. If that ball finishes and sinks, he's not going to be able to do that.
Swing and a miss by Danny Espinosa, who in emergency duty is forced to play third base. Yunel Escobar spiked last night. We were told he could play in an emergency, but the Nationals would prefer to have him out a day, maybe 2, to make sure the hand is all right. And they anxiously await the return of Anthony Rendon, arguably their best hitter, still rehabbing from knee problems.
So his injury, did he get cut, or is he bruised, or
Yeah, I haven't heard the definitive diagnosis.
I think it's both. I think he did have a cut on his hand. It was swollen from what we were told earlier today. And as we said earlier, that play itself is really a matter of perspective. Braves' perspective, that's how they run the bases. They're going to be aggressive. They're going to slide hard. Nationals felt it was unnecessary and late.
Unnecessary, I would argue.
Yes.
Late, I would not.
Me neither.
But the late, I don't think was intentional.
In the air toward right, Marquez plays that on a hop, and Espinosa has a hit. And throw back to second. Lobaton safely at second base here in the 2nd inning.
And that was a changeup.
Same thing, just kind of stays there, didn't it? When his sinker and his changeup has that good finish, it finishes not there where it's thigh high. Even though that pitch maybe is on the outer third, or even that sinker is off the plate, like I said, because it stays on that plane, you're able to get the barrel on it. Whereas if it starts out thigh high and finishes below the knees, that's the finish that he's looking for. Right now he's got more of an east and west finish, not a north and south finish.
And on that east and west as a hitter, first Dan Uggla. Your bat can stay on that plane you're talking about. You don't have to make any adjustment at all. Even if it's running away from you a little bit, you're still on a flat plane. If it sinks, all of a sudden you've got to drop the barrel of the bat. And when you do that, all kinds of bad things happen to you as a hitter.
Yeah, that's why sometimes guys get so focused on that outside corner, inside corner, they try and help it, and it doesn't have the finish when they do that. Versus sometimes you're almost better off just throwing it down the middle, but having it finish down below the knees out of the strike zone.
And had some bite to it. Dan Uggla quickly behind 0-2. Dan had a triple last night. Low and in. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We've seen this count a lot over the last 2 years, where pitchers worked him with a breaking ball away off the plate, and Dan would go after it.
There was the breaking ball, and it's popped up. Infield fly will take care of Uggla. And there's the first out of the inning.
Still wasn't a good pitch. No, he got it out, but it was not where he needed it to be.
I think that's what A.J. Pierzynski's going to say to Julio Teheran. Now he's got the pitcher up.
Got away with one there.
So A.J. Cole, first big league at bat. You know, Julio would love to pick somebody off and then end the inning with a pitcher.
I think too here you defensively you're aggressive. You got a young kid, first time in the big leagues, first time bunting, and I don't care how many times you do this in the minor leagues. First few times you do it in the big leagues, it's different. So look for the Braves to be aggressive here and not only necessarily try to get that out at third, maybe they get a hard bunted ball, turn a double play.
You got a catcher running at second too.
Slug, ground ball second. There's one. Ground to first, double play. The Braves turned their 23rd double play this year. That gets them out of the second inning. Apparently the Nationals haven't forgotten last night's hard slide by Andrelton Simmons, the Braves shortstop.
Yeah, Danny Espinosa went after him way out of the line, nowhere near being able to reach the base. And he was lucky he didn't get stepped on. But I'm sure that was part of what Freddie's conversation with John Hirschbeck was.
Porter's talking with Espinosa over at third base. Well, there's a way you can fix that. I've seen shortstops drop down, go sidearm, plant a fastball right in the helmet of an on-charging base runner. Where you can step on him around the second base bag, apply a hard tag. There are ways to get even defensively too.
If you ask Espinosa right now, he'd probably say, yeah, it was just playing hard.
All a matter of perception, isn't it? Lobatone still talking with James Hoy behind the plate as Jace Peterson leads off at a second. He's had a nice night last night, a couple of hits and a run scored. He knocked one in too. He steps out as the catcher umpire conversation continues. See if young Mr. Cole settles in a bit. He's down a run in his second big league inning. It's upstairs. He kind of shortchanged the Braves, by the way, by one on the double plays they've turned this year. One that ended the second inning was the 24th double play by the Atlanta defense. 2-1 count to the Braves second baseman Jace Peterson. Sprayed foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Talking to Jace before the game tonight and asking where were some other places you had opportunities to go play football. We all know by now that he played at McNeese State, and he said Louisiana Monroe, Northwestern, Tulane, Duke. I said, oh, pretty good grades, huh? So no, they were okay.
Yeah,
better than okay.
I love watching that video that we have of Jace with the quarterback sack against LSU. I like that too. We'll see that on replay in a second as well. Peterson 3 for 3 in the series. His average on the climb.
And hit the ball on the ground to all parts of the field. It's a great sign. Line drive last night.
Cameron Maybin. 3 of his last 4 hits have been homers. Ball, no strikes.
Yeah, everybody that's been kind of recycled back into the lineup has started to swing the bat better. Hopefully this is a sign for Cameron tonight that will be the trick for him. He could use some singles.
Peterson has a good lead. Not going. Pitch. Strike at the knees.
I watched Cameron take batting practice today, a couple of rounds, and he had some really good swings, hitting the ball with a purpose to right center and to right back at the screen in front of Eddie Perez.
Spelling Eric Young Jr. laid down a squeeze bunt last night for an RBI. And now the 1-1 is looped over second. Peterson had to hold in case Ugla caught it and had him played too low, and the Braves have back-to-back hits, and Julio Teheran a chance to bunt.
And he was trying, it was obvious, trying to go to right field, maybe to take advantage of the hole, and winds up with a single. Julio is a good bunter. One of the leaders on the team last year with 8 sacrifices.
If there's a play at third, keep an eye on Peterson, former football player, and Espinoza, who tried the takeout slide on Simmons at second base a moment ago. In. All those strikes.
More up than in.
Yeah, and kid's wild right now.
There's the bunt. There's only one play, and it is to first. Perfect sacrifice. The Braves are in business in the second for Nick Markakis. Teheran helps himself. Julio's second sacrifice bunt.
Really good execution last night and already tonight. Look at that bat at the top of the strike zone. Well done.
Like we talked about last night, when they do it right, boy, it looks easy.
Washington will intentionally walk Markakis. They'll load the bases for Andrelton Simmons.
Chen was just pointing out the Braves were 5 for 7 first time through the order with a sacrifice bunt and a sacrifice fly. Good start against a guy they'd never seen before.
Now they'll have their 16th at bat of the year with the bases loaded. By the way, Atlanta hitting .467 with a runner at every base so far this year. Simmons 1 for 4. With 1 out. Matt Williams already beginning to ponder his lineup card. Let's see what happens. Brave at every base in the second inning.
This kid may turn out to be a 20-game winner. Who knows? But I can tell you as a hitter, anybody that kind of has that long arm, flat arm delivery, kind of almost stiff arm from the elbow out with not much snap on the wrist, pick the ball up, see it out of his hand real easily and pick it up early.
Anderson swung at the first pitch and popped out in the Atlanta first. Let's see if he can make the kid work. Ball 1. Oh, what a cut. Bouncing ball beaten through the left side for a hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Nader on third. Worth. Not much mustard on that throw. It's a 2-run single for Andrelton Simmons. It's 4-1 Atlanta.
I said the other day, if I got a base hit with a runner in scoring position, I wanted it to be Kelly Johnson because of how he can make that turn at third base. Such a good base runner. I think I like Cameron Maben there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
no hesitation whatsoever. When that ball got through or was put on the ground, he was scoring.
Andrelton Simmons already up to 13 runs batted in for the Braves. In 146 games last year, guys, he knocked in 46. He's made a concentrated effort to put the ball in play. Hit it the other way, pulled it that time. But right now, offensively, he's a much different player than last year. Freddie Freeman bats. He's singled and scored tonight. Atlanta 4, Washington 1. We're in the second. High for ball 2.
Andrelton's 13 RBIs now makes him second among all shortstops in RBIs. It might surprise you to know who's number 1.
Freeman drives one toward right. That ball's hooking toward Harper, who makes the running catch. And it's a scramble back to the second base bag for Nick Markakis. Freddie hit that ball hard, but Harper tracked it down for the second out.
Yeah, if Callaspo's was slicing away from him, that one was hooking back to him.
Shortstop with more RBIs than Simmons.
A guy who wasn't doing anything when we saw him at the beginning of the year. Adeiny Echeverria has 16. But he got hot right here.
A.J. Pierzynski 2 on 2 out. And he shoots one the other way for a hit. Here comes Markakis. They will stop him this time. As Worth came up ready to throw. And he fired that as hard as he could and spun back toward the outfield. Again, he had a check swing last night that looked like it hurt. I'll bet that throw hurt too.
Came up with this flare and he got a good hop too. Good follow through on it, but like it hurt.
So the 11-game hitting streak for Pierzynski. Loaded again with the Braves for Callaspo. A strike.
This was Jason Worth after his first at bat tonight when he flied out to right. He was going back to the dugout, trying to flex that right shoulder a little bit, stretch it.
Nice lead for Julio Teheran. Now 4-1. That's low. 2 balls and a strike. Tommy, you remember your first big league start?
I do. Wasn't all that great.
Houston?
Yeah, Houston. Similar to this.
Bouncing ball, right side. Zimmerman's got it. Underhand flip off the pitcher's glove. 2 runs are going to score. The Braves will have them at second and third with 2 outs.
This didn't appear to be a bad toss to a tall pitcher, but he took his eye off of it. Not a whole lot unlike what happened to Ian Thomas. Yeah, definitely looked down the other day. Had to look behind him though to glove this, and then trying to find the bag. He didn't have either one.
The error is on the pitcher. Doug Fister had 2 errors last night. That's 23 errors now for Washington. 18 unearned runs so far this season allowed, not counting that's play a moment ago. And think about it. You have a third baseman playing first base. You have a second baseman playing third for Washington. Desmond's committed 9 errors, and Dan Uggla has had his share of defensive woes. It's easy to understand why the Nationals are having trouble catching the baseball and all the runs that have scored as a result.
That's 3 errors on their pitchers, all coming in the last 2 games of this series.
Well, like anything else bad in this game, it can be contagious.
1-1 pitch. Sharply hit up the middle. A base hit for Kelly Johnson. 2 more runs are going to score. Johnson on his way to second. He's got a double, and the Braves have put 8 on the board.
Nobody warming up in their pen.
They might have to start now.
It's beginning.
8 runs on 8 hits. 9 men have come to the plate. And Chase Peterson, the man that started it, goes to work first. And it is Tom Tanner Roark. You're like Nostradamus. Worst nightmare for Washington. He'll be coming to pass. 8 runs, 8 hits for the Braves. 5 of the hits in this inning. Inning that should have been over if Cole had caught the ball at first base and stepped on the bag. Little flare. That's going to drop into center field for a hit. Here comes Kelly around third. He's going to score. 9-1.
good night if you've already got 2 hits in 1 inning with an RBI and a run scored.
You're 2 for 2 in the second inning. That's the start of a good night.
It's 9-1 Braves. 7 runs here in the second inning. Backhand stop.
Braves are 5 for 8 with runners in scoring position. 33 pitches this inning alone for A.J. Cole.
That's inside. 2-2. I told Max Scherzer threw in the bullpen. He said his thumb felt just fine. You know, he wishes he could be out there instead of A.J. Cole tonight. That's away. Full count.
Bumgarner got on him too about his claim that the National League ought to go to the DH. He said he knew where he was going when he signed. He had chances to go other places.
3-2 pitch. Maven snaps it back out of play. Well, Scherzer today clarified some of his comments. He
needed to.
Was very appreciative of the comments that his colleagues were making. Bumgarner loves to hit. In fact, he'll have a chance tonight. Madison Bumgarner's on the mound for the Giants. Another rematch with Clayton Kershaw at Dodger Stadium. Runner goes. Maven ground ball short. Desmond fields cleanly. And the peg to first in time. Great inning for Atlanta. They score 7 times. And they do that with only 1 extra base hit. 9-1 Braves. We're through 2.
Are coming down too as the Braves lead the Nationals 9-1. And in the midst of all of the progress going on for Andrelton Simmons, we talked to Freddie Gonzalez about what he's seeing from his shortstop. He said, you know, I'm seeing a guy that's really maturing. He's figuring out who he is, what makes him successful. As you take a look at his 284 average so far this season, 389 with runners in scoring position. He said, you know, sometimes it's just a mindset. Got to take a 3,000 swings versus maybe taking a little less as long as they're good. And he said he's also really taking care of his body and paying attention to the things that could become bigger down the line, guys.
Thank you, Christina. Crowd cheering. There's a youngster on the high-definition scoreboard doing a dance routine.
I mean, what I'd expect to see out of you at the nightclub.
Dear Lord, I hope not. Denard Span.
The Macedonian shuffle.
We already discussed that on the road trip, if you might recall. As there was a base loose. Where was that, Joe? Was that in Toronto?
No, it was in New York.
New York. Joe said there was a little shimmy to the second base bag. As Span tries to flirt with the left field line, and he does again. And he's on his way to second. Here comes the throw, and he's going to be in safely. Ball dropped. Span's 2 for 2. Muscle double there for Denard Span. Joe was pointing out the base was moving from side to side. And he said something along the same lines about my dance ability. Well, the ground screw guys brought out these big chunks of wood and were knocking the chunks of wood into the base post to keep it still. I said, that's the only way I carry shimmies. There's got to be someone hammered as a result. So here's Desmond. Desmond popped out to second. 9-1 for Julio Teheran. Bouncing ball to first. Julio to the bag. Put it out for Desmond. Span 90 feet away with one man down. Any win you can get against Washington right now, you salt them away. This team is better than they're playing. This team isn't the team that they expect it to be once they're healthy in the next couple of weeks. And as Worth gets stronger, as Span gets stronger, as their rotation settles in. Remember, we talked last night, Washington club 52 games into the season was 2 games under 500. They won 96 and won the division handily.
Every loss you can hang on them in April is one you don't have to worry about in August and September.
Yeah, it's like we talked about with the Marlins when they were here and they were struggling. Pile on. Take advantage of it.
But to what you guys were talking about, Joe, specifically in the open, the way Washington is losing is what probably makes Matt Williams angrier than anything else. You're going to lose. You're going to have tough times with your lineup banged up. But the errors are a horrible problem for them. Fly ball to center off the bat of Worth. Maven with the catch. Span will tag. And the Braves will trade the out for the run. Worth with a sacrifice fly for his 3rd RBI. And Washington has its 2nd run. And it's been especially bad for Matt Williams' team here in the last week.
He's won 4 Gold Gloves as an infielder himself. He appreciates good defense. He knows what it takes to be a good defensive player, and this has got to be eating him up.
I mean, last year they were all beat up and banged up at the start of the year last year too. They had injuries to Adam Roche was hurt for a while for Washington. Ramos, we mentioned last night, 2 stints on the disabled list. Zimmerman had the shoulder and the throwing problems and hamstring issues, which are still troublesome for him. So they never really had their core together the first third of the season. But when they got it together, they got it together.
Well, you know, even with all the injuries they have, it still doesn't excuse the defense that they're playing. You know, I can take the argument, well, we don't have our lineup, so we're struggling to score runs or be consistent or what have you. But you know, the defensive struggles, it doesn't explain that to me anyway. You know, and then you look at it, and you know, if you're going out there and you're losing, you're getting beat, but you're playing the game well or the right way, what have you, then you say, all right, well, we're close. Right now, at If I'm Matt Williams, I'm thinking, let's get through 2 or 3 innings without making an error, and then maybe we can start worrying about winning some games.
2 balls and a strike to Harper. And to your point about the defense, the Braves have 9 runs tonight. 5 of the 9 are unearned.
3 last night.
That's 8 in 2 games.
They finished tied for 5th last year defensively in the National League. They made 100 errors. By contrast, the Braves made 85 and were 3rd in the league.
Bryce Harper vaporized that ball into the second deck foul. That's a long way.
Just a loud strike.
They went over the top of the foul pole too. I mean, higher than the foul pole. That was an impressive strike, though, Tom. You
Yes,
got
it was. It was.
Three and 2 for Harper with 2 outs. And a swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch from Teheran that time. And the Nationals settle for 1 in the top of the 3rd. 9-2 Atlanta in game 2. The bottom of inning number 3. Pizza cake for the Braves against A.J. Cole tonight. Gave up 9 runs, only 4 of them earned in 2 innings. And now Tanner Roark in the bullpen because of the embarrassment of riches the Nationals have in rotation. This guy's a good pitcher. He won 15 games last year and had a 2.85 ERA, but he's not good enough to be one of their starting 5.
That's kind of sad, isn't it?
Man.
15 and 10. The other side of this, they need him now to pitch like a starter and give him about 5 or 6 innings, because the guy they sent out to make room for Cole was a guy who pitched in relief last night, Martin. So they're 1 guy short in the bullpen.
A strike to Julio Teheran. Roark, a proud member of the Fighting Illini, the University of Illinois. Ground ball to short. He's got it. His pitchers retired for out number 1. Here's a look at the defense now behind Tanner Roark. An error for them tonight. Bryce Harper, the best arm in the outfield. Espinosa, a second baseman, playing third. Zimmerman, converting from third to first. Lobatone, the starter, behind the plate. 9 errors for Ian Desmond at short.
7 runs match a season high that they put on the board in the first inning at Miami off Matt Latos.
Low to Markakis. Nick has singled, walked, and scored twice. Every Braves position player has scored a run. Popped up, shallow left. Out goes Desmond. In comes Worth. Jason's got it. A little shaky out there on that catch. I don't know if it's sky or the lights. Maybe a light misting rain, but Worth hung with it. Second out. Two more RBIs for Andrelton. He's up to 13 and now a 4-game hitting streak. Saw Andrelton be presented with his Gibby Award yesterday, which is an award given to major league players by their peers. All about Simmons and the Gold Glove, the Platinum Glove, and the Defensive Player Awards. Stat I saw today. Since 2012, Andrelton Simmons has saved 96 defensive runs. The next closest shortstop is Zach Cozart, who saved 38.
I don't even know if you would say the next closest. You just say in second place.
Yeah.
A distant second.
Yeah. The next not so closest.
Well, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
To be that far ahead.
It is and it isn't. You know, when you you know how good he is.
Left side, Espinosa cuts it off, and the throw to first is in time. Tanner Roark has restored a bit of order for Washington. The Braves are retired quarter for the first time tonight.
And take part in some great family activities. Friday nights are Georgia Lottery fireworks nights, and every Sunday is Alumni Sunday with autograph sessions. Kids run the bases and more. Visit Braves.com/tickets today.
Bad news for the Reds. Homer Bailey might have to have Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, I saw that. They could ill afford that.
We are only look at the Reds here in Atlanta, a 4-game series. Shelby Miller and Mike Leake on Thursday. Cahill, Anthony DeSclafani on Friday, Stoltz and Marquis Saturday, and the featured matchup Sunday, Julio Teheran and Johnny Cueto. You make plans to join us. We'll have 3 of those 4 broadcasts for you on Fox Sports South. Saturday's game will be a nationally televised game on Fox Sports 1. And a strike to Ryan Zimmerman. So Julio can settle in. Got the 5, 6, 7 hitters up for Washington. It's all about the history of baseball in our nation's capital. The Nationals are not the first major league team. They had the old Washington Senators. And this man at the batter's box is closing in on the all-time Washington, D.C. Major League home run record. We'll have to wait as Teheran struck out Zimmerman with a breaking ball. The Washington Monument, Frank Howard hit 237 homers with the Senators. Zimmerman's 49 behind him.
It was fun when we would go to, well, it wasn't fun going to RFK because of the condition of that stadium for baseball, but it was neat to see some of those seats that are still yellow there that Frank had reached in the upper deck.
Frank was a big man.
Boy, was he ever. Gentle giant.
Lobaton fouls one away. Strike one. Yeah, you'd be down on the field for batting practice, and you'd see back in those days Adam Dunn was playing with the Nationals. He would hit tape measure home runs at the old ballpark. As this one stroked toward right and right at Markakis, and then you'd look up about 150 feet higher in the sky, and Joe would say, "Hey Chip, you see that yellow seat? That was Frank Howard. He's hit about 9 of them up there." You just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, you get that in the old Astrodome too. Was it Jimmy Wynn that used to hit him up there in the upper tank?
Toy Cannon.
Toy Cannon, yeah.
That was a great scoreboard too. You remember? They hit the home run, and the sheriffs would come out and shoot the pistols, and the bulls would snort, flags would fly. Great place. Espinosa hit by Teheran. Remember, he had the hard slide on Andrelton Simmons earlier in the game. And Espinosa just makes his way to first base. Doesn't look at Julio. Right on the right thigh.
I think that hurt AJ a little bit.
Yeah. Catchers don't know how to play the ricochet off the body of the hitter. They're kind of defenseless.
So a hit batsman with 2 outs. Espinosa is at first. Here's Dan Uggla. Dan popped out with 2 on in the second inning. Lynch did a breaking ball. Strike one. Stayed inside. 2 balls and a strike.
Julio's fastball's been a little better this inning. He missed with 1 to Zimmerman that was 93, but it was off the plate a little bit. I'm curious, Tom, if when a guy goes to a 2-seamer as much, and I'll say he's doing it more this year than I remember, can it sometimes have an effect on your velocity with your 4-seamer?
I don't know that it should, to be honest with you. I mean, I think it's kind of the other way around where you have more problem. I think you try to do too much with your sinker.
Uggla strokes one up the middle. His second hit of the series. Espinosa around second. He's on his way to third. He'll make it without a throw. And Dan Uggla keeps the inning alive. And Tanner Roark will hit with 2 on and 2 out.
Sinker that just kind of got out to the side of it and kind of had that run back over the plate. But I think when you're a guy that's a 4-seamer and then you start going to that 2-seamer, I think the trouble that guys have with the 2-seamer is that psychologically think, okay, this ball's got to move, so I got to help it, and you start throwing it a little bit differently. So I think, to me, that's a bigger issue than trying to go back to your four-seamer.
I was just curious. There was a pitcher, I'll have to go back and look, I think for the Phillies, Buchanan. He had developed a cutter, and he had fallen so in love with his cutter that it affected his fastball, his four-seamer, that he was pulling his fastball to the left and had lost some velocity on it.
Now that I agree with. I can see that, you know, and I think sometimes that happens. The guys fall so in love with their off-speed stuff or a particular off-speed stuff that they lose that foundation of their fastball, and they lose the velocity on it, and they lose the command on it.
Roark fought that off and is still alive. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Not a bad hitter. 153 career average. And 1 major league RBI. Chance here with 2 outs, 1st and 3rd, and his chance will have to come another time as Tehran struck him out. The flip to first by Brzezinski sends our game to the bottom of the 4th inning. Julio and the Braves all over Washington. 9-2 your score. Bouncing ball, right side. Zimmerman's got it. Underhand flare. Pitches well. 2 runs are going to score. Sharply hit up the middle. A base hit for Kelly Johnson. 2 more runs are going to score. Little flare. That's going to drop into center field for a hit. 9-1. 7 runs on 6 hits for the Braves in the 2nd inning. Julio Tehran is not seeing a wishy-washy Braves offensive output tonight. 9-2 Atlanta. And a light rain begins to fall, and Freeman all over the first pitch from Tanner Roark. That's headed for the gap in right center field. And Freddie Freeman's bat is coming back to life with a vengeance. 6 hits in his last 10 at-bats.
That's more like it. Got his arms extended. One of the things the Mets, and then in particular the Phillies, did was try to tie him up inside. They did a good job of it.
Another great night for A.J. Brzezinski. A single, a run, and an RBI. His hitting streak at 11 consecutive games. Up the middle, that's a hit. Freeman around third. He's going to score. AJ's thinking too, and then thought better of it as Span came up ready to throw. It's a 10-2 Atlanta lead.
Okay, well, these guys are covering everything, and AJ hotter than a dancing bobcat.
So 10 runs on 11 hits. Double and a single begins the Atlanta fourth. Here's Callaspo. He's reached twice. And he takes a strike.
Braves chairman Terry McGurk was by the cage today watching batting practice. He loves batting practice, loves, as he said, to hear the crack of the bat. He was watching Alberto hit. He was talking about how easy he makes it look. And he said, I'll tell you, he said, if this guy gives a hitting clinic, I'm going.
Braves got him because they knew he could put the ball in play consistently. If you look at the differences between Braves offense from last year to this year, that is the one stat that jumps right off the stats page. We all know the feast or famine nature of the Braves offense last year, and really 2 years ago too. They just feasted more than they were striking out. 2014, the exact opposite thing happened, and we know what happened to the Braves record as a result. With Kevin Seitzer, the new hitting coach, there's been a much more considered effort to shorten up the two strikes and do that. Callaspo serves one into center field, another Atlanta hit. And right now for the Nationals, it's death by 1,000 cuts. These are all singles. Just a couple of doubles for the Braves tonight.
Just hands inside the baseball, flat level swing where the bat starts flat on his shoulder. He does make it look easy. Freddie Freeman, more to your point, Chip, was hitting .219 on Saturday. He's hitting .270 now with this good run.
Here's Kelly Johnson, and he fouls it away. But I mean, look at these numbers. Look at where the Braves rankings are. 2014, 2015. Most specifically in strikeouts, from the third most to the least in the league.
Well, we talked about how they're going to have to change their mindset, and clearly they have.
Sacrifice flies.
Situational hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position this year. Kelly Johnson with 2 on. Nobody out, didn't get it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's in the dirt. 2-2. Another pitcher's duel in Miami tonight. They were 0-0 into the bottom of the 8th inning at Marlins Park. Mets and Marlins scoreless in the top of the 6th inning. Last night, Daniel Murphy hit a 3-run homer off Steve Cishek to come from behind to beat Miami. Match up in South Florida tonight. Rafael Montero and David Phelps. Little squibber back to the mound. Trying to turn 2. There's 1, and there is 2. Runner at third on the double play ball. Rafael Montero is starting for the Mets. They're going with a 6th starter, 1 time through the rotation to give everybody else a little rest. Terry Collins wants to give Bartolo and Colon and Matt Harvey the opportunity to start 30 games maximum this year. Harvey coming back from Tommy John surgery. Bartolo Colon, 41 years old.
So I wonder if they go a man short in the bullpen, or do they go a man short on their bench?
Don't know. I wish they'd go about 25 men short, because the Mets don't lose. They're 15-5. They have a 4.5 game lead. This went around. It's 0-2. We knew the Mets would be better. They are. The team that's somewhat surprising might be the Houston Astros. They won again last night. They're 12-7, and they lead the American League West.
Good for them.
Jack swing out of play. They did suffer a blow. Jed Lowry tore a ligament in his thumb sliding into a base last night. He's out to the All-Star break. He's going to have surgery.
No more sliding.
That's right. You know what? Or hitting. 0-2 is up and away from Roark. 1 ball, 2 strikes. All the Nats can do at this point is play through it and hope they don't fall too far behind. And I guess that's the big concern. Not so much that they're 7-13, but they're already 8 games behind the Mets.
If it was 8 games back in August, there'd be time to hit that old panic button. So much baseball left. I was going to say, for Matt Williams, you got to grin and bear it. Well, he doesn't grin much anyway.
No.
Let alone situations like this.
Peterson reached out and poked at second, and Uglo with the peg, and that'll retire the side. Braves got another run. A.J. Brzezinski brought home Freddie Freeman. Braves lead 10-2.
Right stuff, low price every day.
Love to see big league players signing autographs for the little leaguers before the ball game. And Simmons, one of the more amiable major league players, one of the best defenders too. She's out there. That's a good role model to follow. Just to admiring the skills of a major league player. This game heads to inning number 5. All Braves in game 2 with the Nationals. 10-2. Atlanta jumped all over rookie A.J. Cole for 9 runs. Only 4 of those 9 were earned, however, as He made an error that continued a very big Atlanta second and saw the Braves score 7 times. Sharply hit and under the glove of Freddie Freeman. Denard Span has another extra base hit. He's 3 for 3 tonight. So what's been a dismal night for the Nationals, far and away Span's best game, and that's an encouraging sign for Matt Williams.
Single and a couple of doubles. That ball was smoked. He might have been able to get 3, but he didn't want to run the risk down 10-2 of running into an out at third base.
Desmond's 0 for 2. Bouncing ball, that's under the glove of Callaspo at third. This series so far is not going to go down in the annals of the great defensive efforts in big league history.
No, it is not. It's not going to be a defensive documentary, that's for sure.
Well, he just flat whiffed on that.
Yeah.
E5 brings up Jason Worth. Sac fly his last time up.
Well, if you're Julio, get another one. All right, get yourself another ground ball.
Strike to Worth. It's easy to find, or it's tough, I should say, to find blemishes when you're winning games, but Freddie Gonzalez was very pointed in his post-game comments last night. As Worth drives one toward right. Long run, Markakis, and he gets there. Tagging at third is Span. Worth has another sacrifice fly, and he scored all 3 Washington runs. That's one thing the Braves have to clean up, guys, is their defense. We've talked about it a lot. There's not a great deal of margin for error the way this team is constructed. Extra outs and extra runs prove deadly in the long run for the Braves and really any team.
You want to win games the right way. You want to lose games the right way, if there is such a thing. And, you know, yeah, when you're making these errors and you're winning ball games, you know, you can sweep it under the rug a little bit, but you know sooner or later, if you continue to do it, it's going to come back to bite you. And yeah, you want to clean that up as quickly as you can.
Errors were a big problem on the Braves' 3-6 road trip,
especially in Philadelphia. Freddie made 3 himself.
He's had 9 errors in 9 games in Toronto, New York, and Philadelphia. And it was so odd because the Braves entered that road trip having committed just 1 error as a team.
Right. Well, and 2, you know, the other side effect of it is we keep talking about how these starting pitchers need to start getting deeper into games. Well, when you're having to get extra outs all the time, well, it makes it harder to get deeper into the games.
For a strike. He had a fastball about 8 miles foul over the foul pole down the right field line last time up, and then Tehran got him with a breaking ball. Harper swung on and missed to end the 3rd inning. A cue shot foul, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, after he hit that fastball 8 miles, he's seeing nothing but off-speed pitches, including the strikeout pitch that followed it.
Two and 2. And another breaking ball got it. Good call, Joe. That's 4 strikeouts for Julio.
Well, we talk about a back foot breaking ball. This is perfect execution of one right here. Hard for that left-hander to get the barrel down to the ball in time to prevent swinging right over the top of it. That is beautiful. The hardest pitch in that sequence was 80 miles an hour. Thanks, Chan.
Zimmerman 0 for 2. He looks outside. Zimmerman's in the lineup. Zimmerman's been productive, but Zimmerman's another dinged up Nationals player. He's got hamstring problems. He's got plantar fasciitis, which has apparently been very painful for him. It's a situation the Washington club has to monitor very closely, but he knows about playing through pain. Those horrible shoulder problems the last several years playing third base in Washington. When he's right, this guy's a great player.
Pretty good. Yeah, he's one of those guys that I think is just always going to have a little something going on.
And a line drive to left with 2 outs. Desmond stops at second. And that's 8 hits for Washington tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad pitch. He's just tough out.
Yeah, he just managed to keep that barrel of the bat there in the strike zone for a long time because he was out in front of it a little bit.
The Nationals catcher Jose Lobaton is 1 for 2. Swing and miss. Lobaton hit .234 last year in D.C. A couple of homers. Little known fact, according to the Washington Media Guide, Lobaton, who's been a catcher his entire career, is especially adept at receiving the baseball.
Is he?
I didn't know that. That's what it says right there.
I guess that's why they put him back there.
Words of Casey Stengel. If not, you're going to have an awful lot of pass balls.
Yes.
He's a switch hitting catcher. Came over from the Tampa Bay Rays before the start of the 14 season. Fly ball deep left field. That ball is going to carry out of here. Jose Lobaton is also adept at hitting home runs.
Guess what? We got a ball game.
Yes, we do. A 3-run shot for Jose Lobaton, and it's now a 10-6 game.
Tell you what, the wind had just picked up 2, blowing straight in our face, and he turned it around to left center. Another slider.
Yep. That's a strong boy to hit that ball, breaking ball, oppo like that.
So suddenly some life in what has been described as a lifeless Washington bench. 10-6, and we're only in the 5th inning. 4 across for the Nationals here. A 3-run homer with 2 outs. And a strike now to Danny Espinosa. To first. Freeman's got it. He leads Tehran. Low throw, but good enough to get the job done. Julio Tehran surrenders 4 runs in the 5th inning, but maintains a lead. But now it's a 4-run advantage. to 6. 5 unearned runs, the difference in the ball game. Time to check out our trivia statistics. A commanding lead for the Truck. Tom, you got to get on the board, dude. You're weighing us down.
Well,
help us out.
Starts tonight.
AT&T Universe trivia questions. Since baseball returned to Washington in 05, who holds the Braves record for most career games played against the Nationals? Dan Uggla is the name that came to mind for me.
Chipper Jones. Dan's a good choice.
I like both those choices.
He's got to get something started here in the 5th. It's Tanner Roark, who's got a little new life. He's still down 4, but he's got to hold the Braves right where they are. He's allowed a run and 3 hits in his first 2 innings in relief.
You can see that bench woke up when Lobatone went deep.
Ground ball right side, and Maben pokes one through. A leadoff single for Cameron, who's 2 for 3.
I love it when you get good results from working on some things in the batting cage and comes back to the game where it works. Really makes you feel good. Good for Cameron. Just out of Ugla's reach.
3 straight games for the Braves with double-digit hits. 13 last night, 13 tonight, and we're only in the 5th. 14 hits is the Braves season high. That was in the Matos game that Joe mentioned earlier tonight. Teran pushed the bunt toward first. Zimmerman will make the play. And the sacrifice is perfect. Second one of those for Julio tonight. Maben in scoring position with the top of the order coming up.
By my unofficial count, that makes the Braves 8 for 11 in sacrifice bunts.
Another area much improved since last year. RBI chance for Markakis. Nick 1 for 2. He scored a couple of runs. Smothered by Lobatone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Marlins have struck for a couple of runs. They lead the Mets 2-0. Home 6th inning down in Miami. Cardinals 4-0 over the Phillies. Phillies have a rookie starter going to the post tonight. Severino Gonzalez is pitching tonight for the Phillies. The interesting part of that is Carlos Ruiz is catching. First time in Major League history 2 native Panamanians represent a big league batter.
That's great.
2-0 the count to Nick. He's in for a strike.
I've heard of Gonzalez. I've heard good things about him from their organization.
Phillies were winners 4-1 in St. Louis last night, trying to beat Michael Wacha, who's trying to go 4-0 in his first 4 games of the year. Something a Cardinals starter 23 years, 24 years or younger hasn't done since the 1920s. Two balls, 2 strikes. We lead at second for Maben. Pitch. And back to the screen, foul. Again, Roark's pitch limit, they figure 50, 60 pitches. He's at 39 right now. His spot is due second when we get to the 6th inning. Roark can't get together with Lobaton. His panties in a wad, so they'll talk it over.
He called in both.
Yeah, he must think they're giving location or giving sign or something at second base. So change them up, make sure the middle infielders know what they're going with.
I mean, Roark stepped off and put his hands up. Just frustrated. So he's got a sign to his liking. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a soft fly ball to right. Harper broke back. Now comes charging in. No chance for Maben to move up 90 feet. There's out number 2 in the Braves' 5th. Two more ribbies for Andrelton tonight. 13 of the year. Too far inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Fly ball left center, but the wind's going to knock that into the glove of Denard Span, and the side is retired. We'll see if Roark continues. He's due second for the Nationals, who trail by 4.
And your local Ford dealer.
Braves fans, come meet former Braves legend Javi Lopez prior to Javi bobblehead night on May 20th when you purchase 2 or more Kroger 4-game plans that include the May 20th game. This exclusive pregame VIP meet and greet offer is limited to the first 100, so act now. Visit Braves.com/4game today.
Braves try to chop down the Nationals for the 2nd straight game. Here's the Washington hitter. I'm really surprised at the level of vitriol aimed Dan's way first couple of games in a Washington uniform.
Me too.
Yeah, me 3.
Balls at a strike. And a broken bat flare into right. Markakis on the run. Got there and made the play for the first out. I will say this. Wasn't a perfect ending for Dan Uggla's Braves career, but even in the worst of times, this man never barked at the media, never pointed the finger at anybody else, never laid the blame for his struggles on anything but his own performance.
I mean, and never failed to run hard.
No.
And hustle, ever.
Roark will continue for Washington. It's no secret that when Rendon comes back, Dan's name is one that's maybe on the bubble for Washington. So whether he'll remain on their big league roster or not. Been busy for the Braves. Thomas. 80 pitches for Julio tonight. Roark struck out his first time, and now he's going to tap out with a good throw. Close play, and Teheran got it by a half step.
Yeah, don't forget last inning, I think 3 of those 4 runs were unearned as well against Julio. All 4. The third out of the inning would have been Bryce Harper. That's right.
Here's the man who's been a big pest, Bernard Span.
He's found his stroke a little bit tonight.
Span's a good player. 184 hits last year. And Joe, I can't imagine how hard it must be for a major league player to come back, major league offensive player, to come back from a core muscle injury. All the torque that a swing generates.
Joe can't imagine either.
Fly ball deep right field. Have a night, Bernard Span.
Beat me to it.
He's 4 for 4. A solo home run. It's 10-7, and this is getting a little too close for comfort. That's his first home run, obviously.
What a night.
And it's going to be the end of the night, it appears, for Julio Teheran. He'll depart with 2 outs in the 6th inning. And his lead now 10-7.
Have cut the score 10-7 now. as we take a look at some numbers for the Braves starting rotation in the National League, innings pitched per start at average of 5 1/3. It's 14th in the NL. And I asked pitching coach Roger McDowell today about the focus or maybe concern on starting pitchers not going further into games. And he said, obviously there's a focus on it, but he said coming out of spring training, it's a difficult standpoint because they're not built up from a pitch count standpoint. He said early in the season, you're going to use your bullpen more, but as the season progresses, he'd like to start obviously seeing his starters go a little deeper.
And yes, that would be a good thing. I think Alex Wood's the only man to go as deep as 6 2/3 for Atlanta this year. Tonight, Julio Teheran, 5 2/3, 7 runs, 2 homers, and he'll give way to Michael Kahn, who's making his second Braves appearance.
Yeah, he had a good inning at Philadelphia. Walked a batter, but then you got the next 3 guys.
And the question for Kahn is control. Can he throw enough strikes? He's got the arm. With these big bats coming up for the Nationals, walks and long balls could be a very big problem. It's a 3-run Atlanta lead. Atlanta led 10-2. It's now 10-7. Outside Ian Desmond. He reached on the Callaspo error, and that led to the 4 unearned runs the last time up for Washington. Full count. Just missed the corner. Kahn was on his way to the dugout, but a 2-out walk.
I know there's nobody on base, and that is supposed to be called a strike based on that graphic. But this is no different than coming in with men on base. First batter you face, you come in and walk him. You just can't do that at this level.
His bullpen has now walked 31 men in 64 1/3 innings. That's 75 base runners in 64 1/3 innings. If you want to look at it that way, that's a lot.
Well, especially when you've got this part of their order coming up.
Worth quickly behind. No balls, 2 strikes. $17 runs, 23 hits, 2 errors combined in game 2 of the series. Strike 3, a breaking ball and a beauty. Worth wasn't expecting that. And he's down on 3 pitches. Washington creeps closer on a Denard Span homer. Braves come up in the 6th with Freddie Freeman. He's had a good night. A couple of hits, a couple of runs in a 3-run game. Let's get some insurance. 3-run game, bottom of the 6th inning, heart of the order up for the Braves. Roark back at it. And Freeman jumps all over another first pitch.
They tried something different. Different didn't work. Went with an off-speed breaking ball, and he was all over it.
Freddie 7 for his last 11. 3 more hits for him tonight.
Thing was dropping straight down and combed it.
It's a pretty good pitch.
His second 3-hit game of the year. Here's Brzezinski. He's had a perfect night. 2 hits, a run, 2 RBIs. Side ball 2. Well hit towards center. That ball curling away from Span. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Here comes Freddie. They're going to wave it. Here comes the relay throw. It's going to be over the head of Zimmerman and left. AT Brzezinski is roasting hot.
That gives him 11 RBIs. And one of the things that helped Freddie Freeman here score all the way from first was when this ball hit into the wall. It hit right at the base where there's no padding, but it just kind of stopped there. So Span was ready to play it off the wall, and instead he had to go get it.
So the Braves get one of those runs back. It's another 4-run lead now, a 3 RBI night for AT Brzezinski.
He's hit an 11 straight. His career high is 16. He's done that twice.
Johnson drove in 3 runs last night. AJ's got 3 tonight. And Callaspo with a good night at the plate. 2 in the first, 7 in the second, 1 in the 4th and 6th is the Atlanta offensive attack. Markakis scored a couple of runs. Leadoff spot. 3 runs for Freeman. Single runs for AJ, Callaspo, Kelly, Peterson, and Maben. Straight foul. 3-2. That's tied Miami. Juan Lagares has hit a home run. 3 in the 7th.
Seems like whatever they need.
Yep. Reds 4-2 over Milwaukee. Cubs 4-2 over the Pirates. Cardinals 6-2 over the Phillies.
Adam Wainwright will have his Achilles surgery Thursday.
Walked to Callaspo, and you got to wonder if Roark's starting to run out of gas. He's at 51, 52 pitches. Time for our T-Mobile game changer. Kelly Johnson's hot.
Last 32 games against the Nats. Great average and on-base percentage. And 18 RBIs. That's one game changer. They've got Matt Thornton in their bullpen. Looks like they're going to it.
You know what? Tanner Roark gave up a couple of runs, but he did an excellent job trying to help the Nationals keep it close.
But the Braves just keep on hitting, a season high in hits and an 11-7 lead. Jay Brzezinski, the Braves catcher, turns in our Zaxby's indescribably good plays.
Line shot, sacrifice fly, and then fought this one off for a little knock, extend his hitting streak. Picked up another base hit in the fourth, and almost hit this one out of here off of Roark here in the sixth. 3 RBI night so far.
This attack certainly Chuck Norris approved.
Yes, it would be.
That's on the bad handle of Johnny Gomes' lumber tonight. And speak of the devil, here he is to face Matt Thornton. Boy, what a pickup this guy was. Remember, Joe, when the Yankees just released this guy and the Washington Nationals scooped him up, and he pitched over the final 18 games, 11 innings, did not give up a run.
I've always thought he was tougher than nails against lefties. First time we saw him with the White Sox, he was outstanding. Low 90s fastball, slider, and a change.
Johnny Gomes has very good numbers against left-handed pitching. Faces a tough one here for the Braves in the sixth. Nobody out, a couple of men aboard. 11-7. Braves leading in game 2. High fly ball. He just missed it. Gomes does have a hit against Thornton. That hits a homer, and he just got under that one. Fly out to deep left. Worth puts it in his back pocket. Gomes is out number 1.
Tonight, the 15 hits. What do they have? 3 extra base hits, 3 doubles. I think that's right. But that's another example of putting the ball in play that we keep talking about. All these singles. They have 1 strikeout tonight. 4 doubles. Okay, so 11 singles and 1 strikeout.
That'll work. Jace Peterson bats. Good matchup for Jace. See how he fares against a lefty.
I think too, when you get guys that have the right approach, trying to do the right thing, a lot of times just that effort of trying to do the right thing results in something good happening for you.
Yep, I agree.
Slow roller toward first. Zimmerman at the bag makes the play. Runners advance. 2 outs.
Well, we can look at Cameron Maybin, who's coming to the plate now. Just based on what I told you earlier about his work in batting practice and what he was trying to do and having purposeful swings and not just playing home run derby. It's paid off for him tonight with a couple of base hits the other way.
Two hits, a run scored.
See how Maben fares with 2 on and 2 out.
Braves tonight with runners in scoring position are 6 out of 15.
How dominant has Matt Thornton been? Told you that he didn't give up a run all last season after the Yankees let him go. In fact, Thornton did not allow an earned run in his first 25 overall appearances with the Nationals, and the first runs he gave up were unearned.
He was an all-star with the White Sox. And the reason I remember that is that he's the guy that Brian McCann hit the game-winning base hit off of in Anaheim. Speaking of Brian, he might be a guy who has played in a lot of games against the Nats too since they came back to Washington.
Yeah, it's a good call. 2 balls and a strike. On 3-1. Chris Johnson's grabbed the bat. He's on deck. Michael Kahn, the scheduled hitter. Ball 4. Maben walks, and again the Braves had the bases loaded. Thornton wants to know if that was down and away, and the answer was yes. So Chris Johnson will be announced. Matt Williams ponders his lineup card. Let's see what Chris can do. Chris at .324, 12 hits. He's been aggressive early in the count when given a chance. What a strike. Here comes the 0-2 to Chris Johnson. 2 outs. Listed high. It's 1-2. Brzezinski. Iaspo. Maben. Now Thornton to Chris Johnson. Pitch. Almost hit him. 2-2. Here's where he wants action.
Made a good pitch on him to start the sequence with a good fastball sinking down and away. He doesn't want to go to 3-2, so I'm figuring he's going to go out there again. Chris will drive it to right center, hopefully.
It's not to be. Struck him out. And the inning is over. The Braves had a run, though, in the 6th inning. Freddie Freeman scores his 3rd run of the night. And again, the score for the Braves. As part of the Braves Summer Concert Series after the game Sunday, May 24th. It's a free concert for all in attendance. Limited VIP field passes are available for the show. They're only $20 each. Act fast by visiting Braves.com/concerts today. May 24th. The Milwaukee Brewers are in town, as you see our Mazda game summer.
Brewers are really scuffling here to start the season. Came into play tonight 4-16. That's the worst record in baseball.
There's some talk online that if things don't improve rather quickly, the Brewers might be the first team to unload a lot of their veteran players. And one major league scout who's seen them play said their start is hard to imagine. They've got some really good, talented players, but for whatever reason, the pieces aren't fitting together this year. Luis Avilan gets the ball for the 7th inning. You got Harper, Zimmerman, and Lobaton coming up, then Espinoza. 11-7. The Braves winning a slugfest with Washington tonight. Ball inside to Bryce Harper.
Luis worked an inning last night, pitched around an error by Jace Peterson, struck out a batter. Right now he's the series MVP because he struck out Denard Span.
Yes. He was 4 for 4 tonight. Means a triple for the cycle. Fastball missed away, ball 2. Span had 6 hits all year coming into tonight's game. He's got 4. He's gone from 207 to 303. That's a good night.
That's a really good night.
One simple night's turned his whole year around.
Another walk.
Another leadoff walk. Another first batter walk.
That is a continuing problem. As I pointed out, Braves relief corps averaging over a base runner per inning pitched. As Johnny Gomes stays in the game, he'll be in left.
I can semi see it if you're a 1 or a 2 run game and you're really trying to make just tremendous pitches. You got a 4-run lead. See how far he can hit it.
That's what Zimmerman just tried to do. He's guessing fastball. Got the pitch he wanted, but couldn't connect. No balls and a strike. He's 1 for 3 with a run. Got a slow roller out toward Peterson at second. He'll have 1 play. Zimmerman's the first out. Harper to second. And here's Lobaton.
I remember Smoltz telling us a story over at the old ballpark. Barry Bonds wore him out. It was his Mike Redmond. But there was a game where the Braves were beating the Giants by a good number. So John thought, you know what, I'm going to try something different just to see if it works because I've got the room to do it. And Barry hit one about 800 feet. John said, okay, well, that didn't work. But he had that luxury of at least trying.
Try it.
I would imagine in the mind of Barry Bonds, even though he was successful, he had to have that in the back of his head the next time he saw John. Hey, he threw me this pitch in this situation. Would he dare try it again?
Yeah, knowing John, it might have been a knuckleball.
But, too, we've talked about offensively how when guys are trying to do the right thing, how many times that then results in something good happening for them just because they were trying to do the right thing. And I think the same is true for pitching in these kinds of situations when you get games where you have big leads. It seems like the more, for whatever reason, you get in a game where you got a lead and you start walking guys, then the base hits follow and things start to happen. But when you go out there and you say, okay, I'm not going to walk guys, I'm going to make these guys put the ball in play, all of a sudden you might get some line drives that end up being outs. Good things happen that way too because you're trying to do the right thing. But I don't know why it is that way, but it seems like you get in games like this and you start walking guys, and the next thing you know, there's that bloop and there's that base hit, and everything starts to go wrong.
Lobaton ahead in the count, 2 balls and a strike. Missed a spot with that pitch, 3-1. Ideally, Avalon has an easy 7th. You've got Johnson for the 8th, and if needed, Grilly for the 9th. What a couple of walks in the inning.
It's not turning into an easy 7th.
No, and those pitches weren't even close. No. The ones inside, and then especially ball 4. This might be his first back-to-back night too. No, it's not. His 4th.
So Espinosa bats. He'll turn around and hit right-handed. Espinosa has more power as a left-handed hitter, so that's the other reason that Avalon came in. 2 on, 1 out. He had a healthy cut. It's into the club level to our right. Strike 1.
I would agree with you, Chip. But last night, remember against Stoltz, right-handed, he had a good night. Hit the ball hard. Double, a single, and a walk. And batting left-handed, he popped up.
Washington's 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. Hit a couple of homers. Denard Spans had a 4 for 4 game. Leading off. And 0-2. Ground ball left side. Callaspo tried the tag, didn't get it. Throw to first, though, is in time. Bryce Harper had to try to advance to third, and he eluded the tag try by Callaspo. And Alberto didn't argue the play, continued on, made the throw to first for the second out of the inning.
Well, it was a good idea because it was hit on a chopping, slow way that he might not have been able to turn to going to second. So he thought he might have a chance to get a tag in the throw. They did get an out.
So Dan Uggla is the batter. You've got the pitcher spot due next. You have first base open, but you're not going to pitch around Uggla to bring the potential tying run to the plate.
Right. Which right now is Reed Johnson in the on-deck circle.
A strategy session from Roger McDowell on how to attack Dan Uggla. Dan has another hit tonight. After tripling last night, he singled and he's lined out. 1 for 3 game. Two on, 2 out. Ball 1.
That arm side's a problem for him right now, which would be the left-handed batter's box side of the plate.
In the air, well hit. Markakis on the run. Still going. Won't get there. It's up against the fence. 2-run score. Agla on his way to third. Here's the relay. He's going to dive in with the triple. The 2 walks come home to roost, and Dan Ugla has again made it a 2-run game, and now the Braves fans have reason to boo him.
Hey, you just keep booing him, he just keeps getting better. Second triple in as many nights. Oh, baby. Fortunate that stayed in the ballpark. Deepest part of the park to that side of the stadium.
Now Reed Johnson, the batter. Not afraid to lean into a pitched ball. We saw that last night. He jumps at the first pitch. That's driven deep right. Markakis can't get that. That's a ground rule double. And the Washington Nationals, who were down 10-2, are now down by a run. It's 11-10, and there's a lot of baseball left.
Come on, boy.
Walks.
They have a way of coming back to get you.
And now you've got to get the hottest hitter for Washington in a run scoring situation. Denard Spans 4 for 4. Ball 1. Brzezinski wants Avila to get his arm slot higher.
That was something that plagued Luis last year. He kept getting lower and lower, trying to create movement like Tom was talking about earlier.
Time is called. Matt Williams, they have to go get Reed Johnson.
Reed's been around a long time. He knows that he represents the tying run, and if he did something running to second base, then smart that he would let his manager know if they needed to put in a pinch runner. He was limping all the way, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So that looks like something that was already going on.
Johnson, great pickup for the Nationals. Terrific pinch hitter. Represents the tying run. Says he's able to stay in the game. Denard Span needs a triple for the cycle. Christian Guzman, the last man to hit for the cycle for Washington. Pickoff play. And Johnson back safely. Hard tag by Simmons. Reed can't continue.
Did he call time?
They did. Somebody did on the bench.
I guess not. Reed Johnson was pointing at the Nationals dugout. Hold on. The home plate umpire, James Hoy. Home plate umpire, James Hoy, says time was called. Matt Williams was looking at the umpire and raised his right hand to get his injured player off the field. And John Hirschbeck angrily sent Hoy back to the plate after Hirschbeck raised his right hand saying Reed Johnson was picked off. Now Freddie Gonzalez wants an explanation. Atlanta thought that should be the third out.
If anybody called time, it was a home plate umpire. We'll watch him. And he looks over at the Washington dugout, looks again.
Nobody raised their hand.
Nobody raised their hand.
Matt Williams was asking for time, but if it was granted by the umpire, he certainly didn't let anybody know.
And you can't call time in the middle of a play.
Fly ball span to center. Maben is back, and all's well that ends well. A long drive by Denard Span ends his perfect night, but it's been a happy homecoming for Dan Uggla. A 2-run scoring triple makes it a 1-run game. Marquez with a diving catch, and that will retire the side. And a broken bat flare in the right. Marquez on the run. Got there, made the play. Those are our SunTrust saves of the game. Nice defensive night for Nick Markakis. Let's see if he can spark the Braves offense. Atlanta led big. It was 10-2 after 4. Nationals since then have outscored the Braves 8-1. We've got a 1-run game at the top of the order coming up against Blake Trinan, who's the 4th Nationals pitcher of the game.
And he can bring it. Another big tall guy, 95 to 98 on his fastball with a hard slider.
Braves have found themselves where they want to be. They are in the Nationals bullpen. It's a bullpen that's had some problems. They've blown 5 saves this year. And including Roark's work tonight, they've allowed runs in 7 of their last 8 appearances. 13 runs over 22 innings. So you like your chances. That one just fouled on the third base line. Even count. Mentioned it last night. Not only is the Nationals' everyday lineup decimated by injuries and a much different look, this is where the Nationals, I think, are suffering the most. Greg Stammen out, injured. Tyler Clippard traded for Yunel Escobar. He's the closer for the A's. And Rafael Soriano, the man who closed games for the Nationals, a free agent. 3 key components not with the club.
At the end of their bullpen too. Stammen was kind of a utility guy.
Off the thumbs, out second. Uggla's got it and pegged first in time. Markakis is out number 1.
Yeah, you look at the other aspects of their club and their struggles, and you figure, well, they're going to get better, you know, because guys are going to get healthier, they're going to swing the bat better, so things have to get better. But you look at that back end of that bullpen, and, you know, how do you assume things are going to get better back there? You know, you just don't. You're missing so many pieces and only so many things you can do.
Andrelton Simmons. He knocked in 2 of the Braves' 7 runs back in the 2nd inning. 2 in the 1st, 7 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th for Atlanta. And Trinan missed badly. Ball 2. Washington got a run in the 1st, the 3rd, 4 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, and 3 off Avalon in the 7th. 11-10 shootout. 3-0. Freddie Freeman, AJ Pierzynski to follow Andrelton Simmons. And Freeman's going to hit with a man aboard. And Freddie Freeman's night are great clips of the game.
He's hit the 1st, run scored. Double in the 4th and a run scored. Leadoff single in the 6th and a run scored.
See if Trinan gives Freddie anything good to hit on the 1st pitch. Freddie's been very aggressive in the box tonight. He did. Ground ball past Zimmerman into right field. Simmons around 2nd, on his way to 3rd. Atlanta has him at the corners with 1 out. A 4-hit night for Freddie Freeman.
Don't you think at some point you'd figure maybe I'll just kind of waste one somewhere?
That's why I'm sitting here shaking my head. Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
Lobaton's just been back there all night.
Throw one over, not over his head, but eye high, or bounce a curveball. I mean, see if he's gonna get himself out. I mean,
thank you very much.
Yeah, they're just getting ready for Mayweather Pacquiao. It's punch counter punch in tonight's game. Here's Pierzynski. AJ a perfect night. 3 hits, 3 RBIs, a run scored. And he's been the master of the sacrifice fly in this series. AJ's got 3 sac flies. Freeman with his 3rd career 4-hit game. Is at first. Andrelton with a 1-out walk 90 feet away. That's a big run. AJ took inside, even count. Ground ball, base hit, Pierzynski. Wow, that tandem of Freeman and A.J. Pierzynski have been awesome tonight. A.J. with a 4-hit game. Simmons scores the 12th Atlanta run.
Four-hit night for A.J., 4 RBI night for A.J., and he continues to hit pitches that you aren't supposed to hit.
No. That's tip your hat on that.
Last year, Pierzynski had a 4 RBI game almost a year ago to the day. April 26th at Toronto, he knocked in 4 runs. AJ has knocked in 4 runs on April 28th, 2015. Braves aren't done yet. 12-10 for Callaspo. He's knocked in a run. He's got 2 hits. He's reached base 4 times. Ground ball towards 2nd. Uggla's got it. 1 there. The throw to first is going to be late. Slow developing double play. Freeman's at 3rd. Callaspo's at 1st. Pierzynski forced out. And 2 are down for Johnny Gomes.
To get that guy in from 3rd base. It's come back by the Nationals. We've already seen that an 8-run lead's not enough, so be greedy and get another one in here.
Ball, no strikes.
People bought tickets, came to Turner Field tonight, and a Pacific Coast League game broke out.
Freddie Freeman, 4-hit night. He's 90 feet away. 1 ball, no strikes. He's trying to throw it away. It's 2 in the dirt for Blake Trinan.
How'd this rally start? 4-pitch walk.
Battle of the bullpens the rest of the way. Jim Johnson loosening. He'll pitch the 8th. We'll have the heart of the Nationals order coming up. Strike 2-1. They go to the 9th in Miami. Marlins 4, Mets 3. Mets have a man aboard to start the 9th. Out of the plate. It's 2-2. A.J. Przinsky with his 20th 4-hit game in the big leagues. He's hitting .439 now. Pitch. And Gomes couldn't check his swing on the appeal to first. He asked for it and he got it. And he is struck out. A.J. Przinsky's knocked in 4 runs. He's got a 4-hit game. The Braves have a little more breathing room. 12-10 after 7. Jim Johnson on to face Desmond Worth and Harper.
And Dodge. Born Dodge.
All season long, our friends at Delta Airlines get us from city to city. We'll get a chance to see Mac Honey and the crew for a little bit. It's the start of a nice long homestand for Atlanta. After the Nationals leave, we've got the Cincinnati Reds in town for 4. Then the Philadelphia Phillies before we resume hostilities with the Nationals, Reds, and Marlins on our next 3-city 10-day road trip. Jim Johnson is the 4th Braves pitcher. He's got a tough inning ahead. Desmond Worth and Bryce Harper with a 2-run lead.
2/3 of an inning last night. Got a ground ball force play, also a pop up.
Didn't mean to swing. Cayaspo at 3rd. Friendly hop. Toss across in time. 1 out.
Smart play, too. He saw Desmond on the check swing not get out of the box very fast, so rather than rush in to try to charge on an in-between hop, he waited right here for the good bounce.
Always good to see Jim getting ground ball outs.
And getting that first out of the inning. First batter.
Jason Worth has a couple of sacrifice flies tonight. He's doubled his RBI total. Also fly to right and struck out.
I've seen him hit another sac fly here.
High strike. Corner. Three balls and a strike. Bryce Harper waiting on deck. Perfect pitch.
I like to watch A.J. Brzezinski's glove when Johnson's pitching because the ball moves so much his glove has to adjust to that.
Strike three. Worth is caught looking for the second time in a row.
Nothing wrong with that pitch.
Nope. That is a huge out. Harper could hit one to Tom's house and the Braves would still lead. Top of the hour in Atlanta. Top of the 8th. 12-10. Braves lead the Nationals in game 2. Wild game. Roller toward first. Freddie's got it. He'll take it to the bag, and Jim Johnson, 2 ground ball outs and a strikeout, sets it up for Atlanta in the bottom of the 8th. 12-10 Braves. Leads off the 8th for the Braves. Back to the mound. Nice leaping grab by Trinan on the first pitch of the frame. There's out number 1. Time to answer our AT&T Uber's trivia question. We must recall that Tom has yet to tally a victory.
Maybe it's tonight.
Yeah. Since baseball returned to Washington 10 years ago, who holds the Braves record for most career games played against the Nationals? I'm going to stick with Dan Uggla.
I'm going to go Brian McCann.
I'll say Chipper.
With so much excitement in his voice, Tom goes with Chipper Jones, and it's Brian McCann. 125 games. What's up with that? No love for Chipper?
No, lots of love for Chipper.
He had a birthday. He's an old man now. 43.
How many? 43?
43. Wow. I remember what 43 was.
Yeah.
3-0 to Cameron Maybin. Maybin's had a good night. He's been on 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. He scored a run as did just about everybody else for the Braves in the second inning. Sinker at the knees, good pitch, full count. Jason Grilly. Zimmerman, Lobaton, and Espinoza, the 3 scheduled in the 9th. And Maybin spun away from that pitch inside. He's aboard with a walk. That's how the Braves got an insurance run in the 7th. A 1-out free pass. Let's see if they can add another, because as we know,
a little insurance never hurt.
Yeah, that's right. Here's Eric Young Jr. Squeeze bunt from Young last night drove in a run.
A couple of scat backs in play here with Cameron and Ely, where you could hit and run, steal.
Lead at first. Maybin's chased back. Maybin's going. The pitch outside. Lobaton's throw is dropped by Desmond at second base.
He had an excellent jump, real good crossover step, but Lobaton was going to get him if Desmond hangs on to the baseball. And he hasn't thrown out a base stealer yet. He was 0 for 5.
Second steal from Maybin, and now Young fouls one away for an even count. Marlins did hold on and beat the Mets. Steve Cishek back on the horse, got the save. So Marlins winners tonight. Phillies are trying to come back in St. Louis. The Cardinals lead 8-4 at Busch. Eastern teams in play tonight. 1-1 count for EY. 1 out. And too far inside. Ball 2.
Guy's got a good live arm. He's got a pretty good slider. He just can't throw it over enough.
Three balls, 1 strike for Eric Young, and he didn't get it.
He got Eric to swing at ball 4.
Slow roller toward the mound. Trying with the flip to first. Close play. And Eric Young is out number 2.
The way Zimmerman looked back at the umpire, I lost the flight of the ball right there, and I thought he had it knocked out of his glove again.
Yeah, I wasn't sure myself why he looked back there, but.
Trinan pitched his college ball at South Dakota State. And he came over from the A's with A.J. Cole from Michael Morse. .6'5", 230, and he almost plunked Nick Markakis.
Well, I was just about to say, if you're Cameron Maben, be ready to score, because this guy's kind of all over the place, and he just about threw that one to the backstop. Nice play by Lobaton.
.16 balls, 16 strikes for Blake Trinan so far. And he missed again. Ball 2. According to the Nationals media guy, this man has precision control. I'm not kidding.
Lobaton's an excellent receiver.
Who would have thought? 2-run Braves lead pitch. And they took it. Made him throw a strike, and he did. Outside to Markakis.
Here's where Nick gives you such a solid at bat. 3-1. He's not going to be trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark just because it's 3-1. He's going to be trying to get that run in and get a good pitch to hit.
He took ball 4. The man with excellent control has walked 3 men in an inning and 2/3 tonight. And Steve McCaddy makes yet another trip to the mound. Steve's a terrific pitching coach, great guy too.
Remember when Randy St. Clair was a pitching coach for the Expos and then the Nationals, and we used to kind of make snide remarks about how he would wear out the grass between the dugout and the mound because he'd make so many trips to the mound.
Yes.
Well, here in the early going, Steve McCaddy's got that same. He's on a record pace too.
That's one of the real surprises for the Washington Nationals so far this year. The dream pitching rotation that they've put together, and it's outstanding. Their starters are 5-9 this year, a 3.78 ERA. About Max Scherzer tonight, bruised his thumb in his last start, was pushed back, we think, until their next series. Jordan Zimmerman's going to pitch the series wrap up against Alex Wood. At least he's scheduled to here tomorrow night. 2 on, 2 out for Andrelton. Good breaking ball. Strike 1. Trinan's looking over that left shoulder at the man in the on-deck circle. Freddie Freeman's had a huge night. If he loses Simmons, he'll have to face Freeman.
Well, I hope Andrelton does get on for a lot of different reasons, but I'd like to see him get on tonight right here just so I can watch the first pitch to Freddie again.
The game, or you can observe the game. Nationals apparently didn't observe how aggressive Freeman was swinging in the first pitch tonight. 4-hit night. 1-2 count. Broken bat and line to short, And that will send our game to the 9th inning. Blake Trinan gives up a run in his 2 innings, 3 walks with a strikeout. And as we head to the 9th inning, the lights are out, the grill's fired up. Jason Grilli's going to come on to face Zimmerman, Lobotone, and Danny Espinosa, with the Braves up by 2 in a shootout. 12-10 Atlanta after 8.
Atlanta Braves baseball is presented by Delta Airlines and Mazda. By Zaxby's and Ram Trucks, Guts, Lori, Ram.
Fans follow the Braves all year with MLB.com. At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or your tablet. Jason Grilli, the stage is yours. 3 outs and a 2-run lead for Atlanta.
7 for 7 in saves. Great walk to strikeout ratio.
A good start as he fired a fastball past Zimmerman.
Zimmerman's 1 for 7 against him with a double.
I mentioned the perfect start for Grilli. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, that's the most saves before the start of May by a Braves pitcher in his first season with the team. The previous record was 6 saves by Dan Kolb.
Is that right?
2005.
Huh. Never would have guessed that.
Not saves by any Brave, but saves with a man joining the club for the first time. He's way ahead of Zimmerman with a 2-run lead and 2 strikes. Got to play to the right. Not only has this man's performance on the field been noteworthy, but the energy, the levity this guy brings to the clubhouse. He's a pro's pro. He's been a great addition.
Yeah, good guy to have around. Certainly the work that he's done is very helpful as well, but good guy for these young guys in the bullpen to be around.
Swing and a miss. He got Zimmerman with 94-mile-an-hour gas.
Oh, fastballs. High cheese.
I can't imagine how hard it is to win a major league game, much less close a major league game, but I really can't imagine how hard it is to do what he's doing, considering who he has followed in that role for this team and the circumstances under which he became the team's closer. As Lobotone hits and scorches one right back where it came from. He's had a big night. 3 hits, 3 RBIs and 2 runs. And the Nationals bring the tying run to the plate. Remember, Braves traded Craig Kimbrell less than 24 hours before opening day. And then it was Grilly's job.
Well, obviously the fact that he's a veteran, I think, allows him to step into that role a little bit more comfortably, even given Craig's success here. But I think even more than that, his personality, I think, allows him to do it, because he's a pretty easygoing, carefree guy, and just, I don't think there's a whole lot that bothers him.
Be wary of Espinosa. More power from the left side of the plate. That's how he bats with 1 out and 1 on. Ball 1. The Nationals' third baseman.
Well, he could attack Zimmerman, because there's no way Ryan could tie the game up. All fastballs blew him away. A little different scenario now with a tying run at the plate.
Scherzer and Harper looking on, hoping for another crack. Really is hoping to finish it here in the 9th. Just missed. Hear this man grunt.
Yeah,
that's how much effort he puts into his delivery. That one at 94. Two and two for Espinosa.
Dan Uggla's had a big night. He's on deck. A very important pitch right here.
Fouled at the plate. It was a strike. Jay couldn't hang on.
Went right after him. Espinosa a little late.
Let's see what AJ has in mind with another 3-2 pitch. Just missed. Grilly into a catcher's crouch at the base of the mound. Thought it was right there. And Espinosa walks with 1 out.
Mercy. There are some of those on the PNC pitch tracks that the ball just shaves the corner or the edge. That was within both corners, both lines, top and bottom side. All right. Well, we knew from about the 5th inning on this wasn't going to be easy.
Exactly.
Dan Uggla has 2 triples in this series. He had 4 triples as a Brave. He is a strikeout candidate. He's put the ball in play 4 times tonight. Bell-tie strike.
Might be the first breaking ball he's thrown in the inning.
Walcott in the swing. 0-2.
Well, does he throw another one there, or is he going to go with the sweeping breaking ball?
I'm going to go with the sweeper.
Two for Ugla. Fly ball belted deep left field. Dan Ugla has just hit a 3-run homer.
I'm going to go with the sweeper.
Yep.
Johnson's a man that's known for his ability to levitate. Right now, Dan Ugla is floating on clouds too. He has had a huge series, and he just made the Nationals a 1-run leader after falling behind in this game 10-2. They lead it 13-12. So the first blown save for Jason Grilli, and that'll bring up Clint Robinson. He'll pinch hit for Blake Trinan. If Dan Ugla keeps swinging the bat like this, I don't think he's going to stay on the bubble, if he's even on the bubble.
No.
For Washington.
He's way off the bubble now.
One ball, one strike. It's 1-2. And for a Nationals team that came into this series described as flat, defeated, deflated, uninspired, you can't say that about them right now. They could have packed it in. They didn't. Outscored the Braves 11-2 since the start of the 5th inning.
There are a lot of guys that I can think of on their club that could ignite them and get them turned around. I never thought it'd be that guy. That ball 4 to Espinosa, a very instrumental call as well.
So 3 in, 2 outs in Denard Span, who's 4 for 5 tonight. The Braves are staring at Drew Storen now for the 9th inning, but Atlanta will have its 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up. And a strike to Span. 0-1. Fly ball out of play. It's 0-2. A single, a triple, a 3-run homer, 2 runs, 5 RBIs for Dan Ugla, and 6 RBIs in this series. And another game to play tomorrow night. This one's not done though. The Braves have the last at bat. Line to left, and Gomes is there, but he came in too far. It's over his head. Span on his way to second. He'll stop there. That ball kept rising, and Johnny Gomes couldn't reach up in time to make the play. And Span's in scoring position for Desmond.
5-hit night for him.
4th time he's had a 5-hit game in the big leagues. Now Washington wants an insurance run. Sharply hit, deep short. Simmons loads up, scooped by Freeman. Good play. And that will end the inning. And Uggla has had a huge night. The Braves, though, hope to have the last laugh. Freeman, Brzezinski, Castro, they combined for 10 hits. They need 1 run to tie it. Walk. And now Washington has a 1-run lead because that man hit a 3-run homer in the top of the 9th inning. Now the Braves have to figure out a way to beat Drew Storen. He's back in the closer's role after Rafael Soriano was allowed to walk in free agency.
See, he has 1 blown save to his credit charged to him already this year. And they have so much confidence in him. That's one of the reasons they traded Tyler Clippard to the A's for Yunel Escobar. So I didn't want to see Freddie hit like this. I just wanted to see him hit last inning.
Well, let's hope that 0 for 9 goes by the boards with Freeman picking up his 5th hit. Let's see again what Storen gives him on the first pitch.
Fastball, slider, changeup.
Way outside. Ball 1. Storen, the second of 2 first-round picks by the Nationals in 2009. He was 10th overall. Steven Strasburg was the #1 pick.
Save 5. That's about the top end for him.
Joe Drew saved 43 games for the Nationals in 2011. Next year went back to the minor leagues to fix some mechanical difficulties. Worked as a setup man last 3 years. Now he's the man for the 9th inning. And he missed high. 2 balls and a strike. To left, but right at Jason Worth, who's got it. There's out #1. It's one of the men with 4 hits tonight for the Braves. The other is A.J. Brzezinski. 4 hits, 4 RBIs for A.J.
Start of play tonight. Lefties were wearing Storen out at a 389 clip. Right-handers hitting only 111 against him.
That hurt. Brzezinski fouls it at the plate.
Remember a couple of years ago they changed his delivery. Steve McCaddy got him to quit doing that little toe tap that they thought was really messing up his timing to the plate. Now he has a very deliberate leg kick.
Three walks by Braves relievers in the late innings have come back to score. Dan Uggla with 5 RBIs in his last 2 at bats. The Nationals have to this point overcome what seemed to be an insurmountable 10-2 deficit. Two balls, 1 strike. 13-12 Washington, 9th inning.
Outfield very deep. Try to prevent a ball from being hit over their heads. They'd concede singles.
Yeah, if it's hit over their heads, it's going to be a homer.
Tying runs aboard. It's Washington's turn to walk him in.
Reds have 2 men left on their bench, Phil Gosselin and Bethencourt.
And the Braves will pinch run. 1 catcher for another. Bethencourt for Brzezinski. You don't see that too often. But Christian runs very well.
Well, it has to be this way here because you're running out of players. You got to save Phil for any kind of emergency you might need.
Aspo the batter, big hole right side. Pitch is a strike. He would be the emergency catcher. If you're fortunate enough to somehow get the lineup down to the bottom of the order, use Gosselin to pinch hit. He's only carrying 2 catchers, so they trade him at first base with 1 out. Strike 1 to Aspo. Line short hop off Uggla's chest. He'll flip to second for 1, and Desmond couldn't unload to first. Aspo ripped it, but Dan Uggla with that big chest knocked it down, forced Bethencourt for the second out.
And at least he kept it in front of him to get the 1 out. What Dan Uggla have tonight? 5 RBIs?
Yeah.
He had 10 all of last season.
Crazy game.
Johnny Gomes, the final hope. 1. Gomes has only faced Drew Storen once. And he's 4 for 1. He can keep it alive. Jace Peterson would hit next. Line toward left. Worth is coming on. He's got it. And an incredible comeback by the Washington Nationals. They were down 10-2. They came back to stun the Braves, outscoring Atlanta 11-2 over the final 5 innings tonight. And they beat the Braves in game 2 of the series by a final score of 13-12. What a wild game at Turner Field tonight. Back with more from the ballpark after this.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Atlanta Braves and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Atlanta Braves.